New York City has announced that they are going to put scanners in subway stations to detect firearms. So let's go ahead and talk about that. What's up, Wolverines? Welcome back to the channel. My name is John Crump, and I happen to be an investigative journalist, and this is my YouTube channel called John Crump News because I'm John Crump, and I tell you the news. So go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe for 2A every day, and I wouldn't mind if you shared this video out. Today, we're going to be talking about a weapons detection system that is being put into the Fulton Street subway station in New York City. Eric Adams announced the pilot program today. It is the Evolved Technologies weapons detection system, and the point of it is to detect firearms. This is a pilot program. They are going to see how it affects pedestrian traffic throughout the station and see if it slows things down or not. It is the same system that they installed at Citi Field for the Mets baseball season. The system uses existing cameras and feeds those images into a computer system where it uses algorithms and AI to detect firearms. It does this by looking for printing, and it can identify firearms pretty readily. There's tons of open source applications to do this, but this one is a commercial application. Right now, it's just a pilot program, and it's just in one subway station, but we can expect it to roll out to many different stations and beyond New York City in the future. Recently, we have saw New York City implement martial law-esque type procedures, such as pitting the National Guard in subway stations to do random spot checks, also known as stop and frisk, which I think is kind of unconstitutional, but that is just what I think. This is just another eroding of our liberties. Guns have been used in the New York subway system to defend people from attackers. In fact, it happened recently where charges were not filed because it was obvious self-defense. But New York tries to play subway stations and also buses as sensitive areas. They are being sued over this, but as of right now, these places are still considered sensitive areas, and you are not allowed to carry a firearm by the city. I think this is New York's attempt at combating crime in the subways and other places instead of treating the root symptom, which is under prosecution of crime. There was a few illegals that attacked police officers, and they were released on cashless bail, which is absolutely ridiculous because they are violent criminals, and yet New York said that they can go walk free among the citizens where they actually commit more crimes. I have spent a fair bit of time in New York. I actually worked in Manhattan for a little while, and I go back and forth to New York quite often. I'm up there a few times a year, and I can tell you one thing, that the people of New York are getting sick and tired of the failed policies of Mayor Eric Adams and Governor Kathy Hochul. These guys do not do anything to make us safer. All they do is disarm law-abiding citizens and leave them to the wolves, which are the violent criminals. All one has to do is look at the policies from the early 2000s when New York was quite safe. Before, New York was a cesspool because it was ran by Democrats, and now it's ran by Democrats again, who enacted the same policies of the 80s and the 70s that turned New York into a dangerous place. So they repeated history and got the same results. Blaming the gun does nothing. Blaming the gun does not treat the root cause of the crime problem in New York. You have to address the crime problem in New York by treating the actual causes, which is failed democratic policies. If you're going to shut down schools and shut down homeless shelters to give a place to stay to illegal immigrants and give them $10,000 each, you're going to get crime. It's just not illegal immigration that's the problem. It's all of New York's policies. They are failed policies, yet they won't reverse them because they are ideologues. And as ideologues, they are going to continue the course and not admit that their policies have failed and cause a spike in crime. Luckily, all technologies have weaknesses, so it's just up to us to find out what those weaknesses are and how to exploit those weaknesses so we don't disarm ourselves when we're walking through the hellscape that is the New York subway station. Remember, these anti-gun technologies, laws, and procedures are not there to make you safer. What they're there to do is strip you of your God-given right to bear arms. The Democrats have a hatred of the Second Amendment. They have a fundamental hatred of your gun rights, and they want to do nothing less to disarm you and make you sheep, because sheep are easier to control when they are not armed. There's an old saying that says, when there is one sheep and three wolves voting on dinner, you have democracy. When you have three wolves and one heavily armed sheep voting on dinner, you have liberty. So just remember, liberty will prevail. We just have to push back against these draconian technologies that want to strip you of your right to bear arms. And we have to push back against the laws and procedures and the politicians that pit all these in effect. Do I think the pilot program will expand past Fulton Street Station? I honestly do, and I can see it rolling out to the whole entire subway system sooner than later. But we'll just have to wait and see what actually happens. All right, guys, that is it. So stay vigilant, stay free, keep in the fight. I'm out of here. Wolverine's motherfucker.